Yeah, so today I'm going to be talking about the evolution of Web3 wallets. Some of you might remember Mist. So this was back in 2015, actually. So very, very early in the Ethereum journey. And at the same time, this was a very remarkable vision. And I think a lot of what was true about Mist as the product is still holds true to this day. For some of you who don't know what Mist is, so Mist was the first Ethereum wallet with the dApp browser integrated into it, and it also had access to the multisigs, for instance, for like a party multisig. But back in 2015 and 2016, the use cases, the number of use cases of how you can actually use your Ethereum was very, very limited. So one example, you could transfer ETH to your friend. So that's the first one. The other one was to lose money on the ICO. Oh, sorry. Oops. The second example was to lose some money on the ICOs. And lastly, you can send money to the party multisig and hodl your Ethereum forever. But these were the early days. And now, as we are in 2023, you can see, sorry, you can see how many new use cases there are out there. So all of you have tried at least one of these dApps, I'm very much sure about that. And there are thousands and thousands of different things that people can now do in their Web3 journey. So it starts obviously with DeFi, you can swap tokens, but obviously now we have even more and less connected to financial use cases applications like decentralized social media or music NFTs. So all of that is exciting, and now we're finally starting to reach any closer to the vision that Mist set out to be in 2015. Oops. So since 2015, actually, so the wallet evolution barely made a shift there. So in 2015, Mist set this grand vision, but honestly, the use cases were so limited, and that's why the wallets basically there was no use for the wallet back in the day. But now, as we see this many use cases, it's becoming very clear that wallets have to adapt to support this range of use cases that we have in the space. When it comes to wallet evolution, a lot of the people were primarily speaking about key management and about bringing the next billion to the space. But reality is that people are not coming for the custody, so they're not coming for account obstruction, they're not coming for MPC, they're coming for the things that they can do within the space. And we are now, as you can see in this audience, we're now the active users of the Web3 space, and there are actually quite a lot of us already. So it's now very much clear that there's a big audience that is using Web3 on a pretty much daily basis. What we've set out to deliver at Zerion and to focus on is actually citizens and not tourists. So the way we see it is that citizens is not the amount of experience that you have. Citizens is merely about the belief and the understanding of why you are doing what you're doing. And obviously the skill level varies, but it's all about committing yourself to the space and understanding why what we are building is important. And you can see that there are pretty much three groups that we see in the citizens category. So there are obviously builders, there are traders, there are enthusiasts, but most of all, the important part is that all of us believe in the future of Web3 and that we can replace centralized Web2 platforms with protocol-based plus application-based technology. So as fellow citizens, you are probably asking yourself all of these questions on a daily basis. So I have maybe 20 plus different wallets, and I'm sure most of you do have a lot of different wallets, and managing that is becoming increasingly complex. So privacy is one aspect of it, so you obviously have to have some accounts that are public, but then you need to somehow send money between them. Managing your identity is also pretty much important because right now, most of the things that we do, which is a little unfortunate, is public, and that creates a lot of you are surfacing basically through your wallets of what you do. And that leads us to basically another question that you might be asking. So whenever you are signing any transactions, you're probably feeling anxious. At least I am, and that's why I'm using all the new potential technology just to check every time, and like I'm looking through the data that I'm signing every time because I'm still anxious. And lastly, what is your on-chain footprint really? And that means all of the things that you've done. How easy for you is it to recollect all the things that you have in your wallets and across all of your wallets, across chains, across different DeFi protocols and NFTs? So we launched a wallet at Zerion about a year ago, and since then we're now seeing that half of the transactions that are made through Zerion are now going through the dApp browser. And we understand that dApps are becoming, the number of use cases in the Web3 ecosystem is now overwhelmingly more than the swaps and for the tokens. And yeah, and now because of that, wallets are becoming the place where people want to spend time. This is a great quote from Gabi. So she wrote a nice piece about the fact that wallets should actually not be called wallets. We cannot really fight with that, but I agree with the message here is that wallets are now becoming the daily tool that you're using when approaching Web3 and interacting with Web3. Oops. Sorry. So let's talk a little more about the components of the modern Web3 wallet. So these three things are pretty straightforward. So this is actually where it all started for even the old wallets. And most of the effort was focused on the key management. We obviously heard a lot about account abstraction and MPC. And this is most of the evolution that happened on the key management side. But at the same time, there are other important components of building a modern Web3 wallet. So one example is portfolio tracking. So your wallet has to understand what is it in your wallet for you to make better decisions, for you not to sign something what you didn't intend to sign. And lastly, so only a few wallets actually in the space right now approach this last row that I am highlighting here. So let's talk about, for instance, spam filtering. So now, many of you have experienced the fact how there are spam transactions happening in your wallet on a daily basis. So whenever you are making a transfer, there is a malicious address that is sending you some fake tokens, such that next time you might confuse it with a different address. So spam filtering is important, and then when it comes to NFTs, that's even more relevant. So you would get a random host of NFTs pretty much on a daily basis for someone to show their collection. And the wallet, it's now becoming clear that this is a responsibility of the wallet to filter out for these type of scams. And on the identity side of things, wallet, as I said previously, so wallet is becoming your public representation in the Web3 world, and managing this identity is also the responsibility of the wallet, so helping you navigate and present your identity in the way that you intend to present your identity. So all of that got us thinking about the future role of the wallet in the Web3 space. And we've been basically battling through these two concepts of wallet being somewhere in between, I guess, or an overlap between an email and the browser. So I would say, I think that the important bits of the email and browser is, I think that's a funny, interesting analogy, given that both email and browser were the first in the Web 2 space, and they were actually not platformized in a big way as many other things were. And I think this is exciting that the wallet sits at the pretty much similar intersection, because I think we have the potential to build something that is decentralized and distributed. So speaking about the analogy itself, so wallet now acts similarly to email as your identity, because you have the ENS, you're sending that to your friends, so that's representing yourself. Then obviously email does spam filtering, and it's primarily used for communication. I think on that last bit, wallets are currently not used as much for communication, but this is already a big development that we see, and I think sooner or later we'll see even more of the peer-to-peer messaging and dApp-to-wallet communication, starting from Wallet Connect and others building in the space, and this is all going to happen very soon, I think. On the browser side, as I said previously, 50% of transactions on Zerion are now going through the dApp browser, and All of that basically brings us to the similar analogy where now, like browsing the Web2 space, you need to access websites somehow. And that's the ultimate way of executing certain applications within a secure environment. So that's the primary role of the browser, and the wallet is becoming similar in that sense. Lastly, the last bit here, so managing user data is all about basically history of your interactions with different websites and making sure that every time you're clicking on something, it does what it's supposed to do. And we believe that the Web3 wallets are evolving in something similar, and I think the word wallet is going to stick with us for a very long time. At Zerion, this became, this actually coming from one of the tweets of our users, so this became a little bit of a mantra for us recently. So browser first, finance second. And as you know, historically, wallets were viewed closer to some kind of a neobank type of application where you use your wallet primarily for financial cases. But now, as I explained, browser is becoming the most important bit to it, and the wallets should adapt to support the majority of use cases that people have within the Web3 space. So at Zerion, since we've released our mobile wallet about a year ago, we've been hard at work to deliver that vision. We've worked on everything that I've talked about previously. So we've done the portfolio part of it, so tracking every token, every NFT on every chain, and we're constantly improving at this. We are working on the smart, we have the smart transaction history that does filtering for spam for you, so you don't have to worry too much about losing the track of what you've done previously and not falling prey to scams. We do have, a lot of our users love push notifications, so this is another big feature, so you can instantly know what's happening in your wallet as well as in the wallets of other people. Lastly, this is rolling out soon, so we are doing transaction simulation as well as the safety check and phishing protection for every transaction that you sign. So this is a new product that is currently in the alpha stage, actually maybe even better. We've been testing it internally for a while, so we're giving early access to the people who want to participate, and actually we love to hear feedback. So this is the most important piece for us right now. If you can provide feedback for the extension that we're launching, that would be amazing. So the mobile wallet is out, but extension is going to be live, I don't know exactly when, but roughly at ECC this year. But before that, we're giving early access to the folks who are interested in testing this out and leaving the evolution of the Web3 wallets. Thank you so much. Hvala.